determined the handsomest show on the internet.
Also the only one. It's true. Don't believe me? I forgot to rebrand.
Throw it away!
Throw it away! Hold everything! Hello, everybody. Welcome to A Way to Be Dead, which is a title that I'm sure sounds much better in Turkish. I'm going to be playing as a victim. Okay. So what is this game? It's an asymmetrical 1 versus 4 horror/stealth game about searching corpses, finding the key and escaping, or hunting down all the victims and murdering them. This game has a couple of really interesting mechanics that I'm going to explain to you should I be able to get into a game. Unfortunately, from the main menu, I could already see that nobody's playing this game. And this is the unfortunate reality of pretty much all small-scale indie multiplayer games, where if you don't have enough players, people aren't going to play it, therefore you don't have any players. I am going to just give up on this instead of just waiting for another person to spontaneously decide to play this game. Instead, I was lucky enough to randomly be playing at the same time as someone who goes by the name Laphin Hyena, who I've never heard of, does a bunch of voices and like a Five Nights at Freddy's fan animation, has like 60,000 subscribers. So, hey, Laphin Hyena, this is my crossover with you. Please don't be a weirdo. I don't mind that you're a furry. Please don't be a weirdo, though.
It's not fan.
Is it not?
No.
Fan animation. I looked it up. Tony Kreinite, whatever. That's a fan animation.
Okay. You actually looked it up.
I looked it up. Yes,
okay.
Yes. So I assume that everyone that I'm playing with here is either Laphin Hyena himself or one of his viewers. So let's... I knew this was going to happen, so when I managed to get into a game, I immediately decided to record it. I love this kind of detail here, where as soon as you're ready, your character is going to lift their head. What is a little weird is that Laphin Hyena, in this case, is actually going to play as the killer, but he still shows up as one of the victims. That's a little weird. Something amazing that I legitimately, absolutely adore is if you look at the shadow of the killer, who is Dr. Riley standing off to the right, it's actually not his shadow. It's actually a really creepy effect. This whole game is based on a different universe in the universe of the previous game of that developer. Cranium Games, something along those lines. And if Dr. Riley eats a human heart, he turns into a weird mutant who's basically Gollum on speed, if you can even imagine that. And he runs around really fast and murders you. So this shadow is kind of a cool little detail. Just wanted to give credit where it's due. Overall, this atmosphere I actually really enjoyed. I played this game during the middle of the day, and I had major creep vibes going through me, which wasn't just because of all the furries. I'm sorry, that was a joke. So when you actually go into the game, it starts all the victims off in the sewer, where you have some time to pick up a flashlight, pick up some batteries, and once the timer in the top right corner runs out, the sewer is going to flood with poison gas. It took me a while to find my way out the first time around, since the map isn't necessarily intuitively designed and doesn't have a lot of clear landmarks. There are big floating letters telling you which building you're going to, but the fact that this specific grate that Sephiroth over there just knocked over is collapsible isn't very clearly communicated, and I walked into several of these little pipes and thought they were dead ends and backed out. So I definitely think that's something that could be communicated more clearly for first-time players especially. So like I said, it's a horror stealth game. There is one killer running around, and over time more and more zombies appear, which is kind of an interesting little addition to the formula that you might know from Dead by Daylight, which is a game that I've seen. If you speak German, subscribe to my sister. She plays the game a lot on Twitch. I'll put a link in the description if I remember to, otherwise remind me. So you walk around, you search bodies looking for the key. Obviously, you're going to have to avoid the killer, you're going to have to avoid the zombies. Something that's quite interesting is the fact that the zombies actually don't choose sides. You'd think that in a game like this, the zombies would be on the side of the killer, but actually, a lot of the time, the zombies are way more annoying when you're actually playing as the killer, which is something that I was luckily able to do once and have footage of. So what you're seeing right now is me playing dead, which for some reason, for the first little while, turns you into this bizarre half-zombie state before you revert to just your basic human self. There is a little red warning on the screen when the killer is nearby, but it doesn't exactly tell you where he is, or how close he is, or if he's moving away or approaching you. So that adds a nice little layer of tension. On top of that, if the doctor is currently, a mutant, pretend dead, which is my favorite phrase in this game. If the doctor is currently a mutant, you can only fool him while you're in this half-zombie state, which runs out after a while. Once that half-zombie state is over and you revert back to your normal shape, the mutant will actually be able to tell that you're alive. I think it can... Oh, there it is. There it is. Look at he. Oh, God, look at him go. All right. I blinded him briefly, and then he ran past me. And now I'm trying to blind the doctor again, but I couldn't quite figure out how to do it. Turns out you had to hold down the right mouse button, which, I thought you just had to click it. Unfortunately, there wasn't really a chance for me to learn how the game really works before going into it. But that's definitely something that I picked up on after a later round, so I just considered this first match a tutorial. Something that you're hearing now is that while most of the voice acting comes from Dr. Riley and isn't very good, the actual screams of agony that your character lets out are almost bone-chilling. They're really uncomfortable to listen to, which is definitely a compliment in this kind of game. So, yep, here you see him just standing over me, probably trying to figure out how to eat my heart or something. I'm sure if I went back and found the VOD of the stream, then I could find out what he's thinking right now. So, interesting thing. When you die, you turn into a zombie. And something that's quite fascinating about this game is that if you manage to find the nurse, who will be one random player on your team, she will actually be able to revive you and undo the zombieism. However, alternatively, you can also collect a bunch of extra points by killing your former friends, if that's something you want to do. And I find that very interesting, that the game gives you equal incentive to try and recover, to try and take down Dr. Riley, to buy the rest of your team more time. It's a very interesting mechanic. Here I am seen trying to eat, because you actually lose health every time you attack, and I don't know if you lose health from moving, it doesn't look like it. Which basically creates this environment where you can fight for a little while, but you will have to go around, find corpses, and eat them to make sure that you stay, quote-unquote, as healthy, as a zombie can be. I'm actually not entirely sure where all the other zombies come from over the course of the game. I'm pretty sure they just spawn in. I don't think they're... Oh. That was me trying to check clues while also sprinting at the same time. Ignore that. So, here's some zombie on zombie violence, and I gave up because I realized that there was no real point in fighting him. Zombies and Dr. Riley can't crouch, which obviously makes it easier for the victims to get away once they actually know the map. I personally, over the course of I think 5 games that I managed to get into, never quite figured out how to navigate the world without just blind guesswork. So you could see Laphin Hyena killed everyone. Good job, you. Let's see. I think this is me trying... Yep, this is definitely me trying to get into a game as the killer. And here I am. Killer is kind of interesting to play as, since you're the one who has night vision. I don't recall seeing him have a camera when I was playing as a victim, but, you know. What? Night vision goggles?
Yeah.
Oh, did he have night vision goggles? Oh, I thought his eyes were just red.
I think those are goggles.
Okay, yeah, I guess maybe they're goggles. Where was I? Oh yeah, so something that's very interesting about the killer is that, like I said before, you can turn into a mutant monster, which moves faster. I think I actually completely forgot to do that in this entire playthrough. And you're gonna see me bumbling around a lot and having no idea what to do, since this was the first time I played as the killer. And only maybe the second or third time I was playing the game at all. So another thing that's kind of interesting is that you can pick up guns, which I did not expect to see in a game like this. It's kind of interesting because for some reason it switches to a third-person view when you have a gun, which you'd think it'd be the opposite. That's when you go into first person, but oh well, it works fine. Something that I absolutely love, even though the voice acting for him isn't great, is the fact that he will randomly spout, "I'm gonna kill you," or "Die, you little shit," and things like that. Especially when you switch weapons, which is a really nice, what's the word I'm looking for? Diegetic warning for the victim that, oh, this person that had an axe last time I saw him, he probably switched to a gun now. I might want to turn a corner as soon as I can. So that's a neat little detail. You're gonna see me just walking around and killing zombies for pretty much the entire duration of me playing as a killer. Like I said, I didn't really know how to accomplish anything. I did find some people every now and again, but they managed to get away because they figured out the flashlight stun before I did, which, you know, fair enough. I honestly wish I could have played more games as the killer. I thought it was kind of interesting. There I just left the gun. I really hope I picked that up, otherwise it'd be embarrassing. Yep, I'm worried enough about my eyesight getting worse as it is, but, you know, what are you gonna do? Something that is supposed to help the killer quite significantly is the fact that if a victim steps into a pool of blood, you'll be able to track them for a short time. Which, again, is a really cool, diegetic, thematically appropriate way of giving the killer just that little bit of an edge, which I absolutely love. But unfortunately, it seems very easy to avoid those blood splatters because I don't think I saw a single one while I was playing as the killer, which, you know, is a shame. So, yeah, it's bizarre. I'm playing the killer and I'm just walking around beating up zombies because I don't know what else to do. Oh, yeah, okay, hang on, let's go back. Let's go back a little bit. So I did actually find another player. I don't even remember who it was. I think I figured out where they were because the zombie was chasing them. Yep, they were searching a body and I wanted to interrupt them. and then they flashlit me, if you will, which has the unfortunate side effect of causing a photosensitive epilepsy in the killer, which, as far as weaknesses go, is kind of interesting. It makes a lot of sense in terms of gameplay mechanics to give the victim something that can briefly stop the killer without actually seriously harming him. That being said, photosensitive epilepsy, not a joke. And since I didn't have any medicine on me in that moment, I couldn't just shrug off the seizure and move on with my life to try and kill the guy. So he ended up getting away, and I don't think I managed to find him again after that. So, pretty interesting mechanic. Unfortunately, the medicine that helps you with your seizures is also what you use to heal yourself after taking damage from fighting zombies. And, I was running out because I fought too many zombies. This is when the game told me that you can push zombies, which was incredibly nice to know. I don't think it really told me that from any of the tips in the main menu. But there you go. It really helps clear the way and allows you to skip fighting them. Am I gonna... As you can see, the hit detection with melee weapons isn't necessarily amazing. I spent a lot of time in this game flailing at zombies and just missing. If you've ever played Morrowind, you probably have a vague idea of what that feels like after a while. And yeah, you've pretty much seen the entire game by now. There's something that caused one of the victims to become marked on the map. I'm not entirely sure what it was. One of the things that victims can do is whistle to attract zombies to a certain spot. Maybe that's what marked them on the map. I don't know. Because, unfortunately, again, I couldn't get into many games. As soon as, I presume, Laphin Hyena stopped streaming, the player count went from 5 to 0, and the game was dead. And I kind of understand why. I've seen bits and pieces of Dead by Daylight. It's going to be really hard to compete with that amount of brand recognition. Here I try to shoot them, but again, get blinded. And then I found out that if you want to cure yourself with the medicine, there's a quick time event involved, which I didn't know, so it caught me by surprise and I failed it. So that was great. And, the victim is gone, and I don't think I'll be able to find him again. So this is pretty much a way to be dead. It's a pretty cheap game. I think it's $5.99 right now. It's in early access. They're planning on adding more maps and more playable characters, more zombie types. I don't know if they plan on adding more killers, since this particular killer is the bad guy from their previous game, from what I understand. But unfortunately, even though I can definitely see what they were doing and didn't hate my time with it, I definitely think if I had been able to play it more, I would have been able to get a good grip of the mechanics and of the map layout, because unfortunately the map is very dark and it's very easy to get lost over and over again. I probably could have had a lot of fun with this game. Like I said, I haven't played any of the Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th, any of those games. So I can't exactly say how this game compares to them. If you have a group of 5 friends and you're looking for just something new to try out, I guess this game is just fine. I think it's serviceable. It runs really well considering that it's in early access. The netcode seems to be perfectly fine. I didn't notice any sliding around, any rubber banding, even though, I live in the middle of the Pacific now, so the fact that the connections were as good as they were was pretty impressive. Doesn't use dedicated servers, it's all peer-to-peer, so you won't have to worry about the servers shutting down if the game doesn't go very well. So that's good too. So if you have enough people with you who want to try this game out, you can have fun with it. It's not very expensive. If you think it's worth the $5, great. If you just want to get into a new multiplayer game, this is unfortunately not going to do it since nobody's playing it anymore. And that's kind of a bummer. But I hope the developers keep improving the game and maybe getting more people interested in it. There's no reason to ever want to see a game fail. And with that, thank you very much for watching this almost archaeological proof that this game existed at some point.
Once during a stream.
Once during a stream, you have just watched incredibly rare footage of this game existing. And that's kind of a bummer. It's kind of a bummer. But I also kind of get it. It's a really difficult market to break into. What I will say is people are surprisingly cool about not being the killer, though that might just be because they wanted to see the streamer be the killer. People don't just drop out if they don't end up playing as Dr. Riley. They're actually just fine. The text chat didn't feature any profanities or insults, so that's nice. But then again, you know, if there's no one left to call you slurs, is it even a chat? Thank you very much for watching. Like I said, make sure you subscribe to Handsum German. Make sure you subscribe to Rapid Peach for our upcoming podcast.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. Where we dig through Am I the Asshole posts, which will happen as soon as we have time and energy because of a secret mystery project that won't be online.
We're calling this a mystery project?
It is a mystery project. Make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment with who is the quirkier slasher villain, Freddy Krueger or Jeepers Creepers.
Oh.
Yeah. Fight about that in the comments. Beelzebub and Uwu Femboy. You get us too. Thanks for playing, guys.
See you later, gamers.
See you later, gamers.